Now, in my experience, so many shop owners, you may hear this message today and be like, I tried that. You know what I'm saying?
Try it
Well, guess
again.
what? Something you did didn't fucking work, did it? But if you're the leader, you've got to put the mirror in front of your face. Hip says it all the time on the show. If you are not the problem, there is no solution. Everyone else has the luxury to point the fingers and blame. But if you're the leader, the buck stops with you. Who the fuck are you blaming? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Tattoo Guardians podcast show. You know what it is. Mr. Josh Carlton, Hip, and Matt Clemmer here. So honored once again to come back and serve you from our table, from our hearts, from our head, for our many years of experience, and the experience and the lessons we are learning current day, this moment, this week in our lives. We're here to be fully transparent, fully vulnerable with you all. We're back again because you are. Thank you for tuning in week after week so faithfully, and I tell you, it has just really filled our cups and our soul, has it not, fellas?
Absolutely.
My God.
You know. If you like cool stuff,
Yeah, I mean,
if you like good things, you like sunsets, you like boobs, you know.
And you were like talking about like learning lessons and shit. I mean, I'm pretty much caught up. I'm just waiting for you guys.
Yeah.
Well, every time I think I know something, I have to make the call. So I think I figured something out. Like, is this enough contrast in my tattoos? Let me make the call to Hip real quick.
That's right.
Let me mail you some black.
Yeah.
He said that, and I was like, man, he's got like these little fucking funny ass catchphrases, dude.
What's one of them?
He was talking about somebody asking him shit, and he was like, come on, man, you got to build do you need me to mail you some black?
Oh, okay.
That's a dick move, but that's pretty fucking funny.
Oh, it's fly.
It
That
is.
shit's fly as fuck.
Oh, my God. Woo.
Great.
It is funny. But you know, if he really said that, everyone would take him up on it just to say that he mailed him some.
Right.
You know?
Except the haters,
it's-
they'd be like, yeah, I got the email, but I'm cool, bro. I use this kind.
It's the new evergreen invitation, just a bottle of black.
Love it, man. Jeez. We've been going nonstop, and I fucking love it.
Yeah.
Hip, thank you for how you show up in the world and continue to be so fucking solid and consistent on who you are and how you show up. Josh, thank you for how you show up to the world and continue to be faithful to the vision you had with us three coming together to create this podcast, to serve the world. We knew that it was going to be a commitment, but I don't think we knew
Right.
how much. And now that we've been in the middle of it almost a year now, and I see you, brothers. I appreciate both of you. No matter what's come at us, no matter what, here we are, like we said we would, coming through the shit, in the shit, but yet we're still here committed to this cause.
And, you know, behind the scenes, the viewers may or may not know this, but we've actually been doing this over a year now. Now, you know, we'll have an official, like, celebratory 1-year anniversary for when we first released. But we've been going at this, and it's funny because, like, talking about that, I was looking back, and I was like, man, it was hectic. But now it doesn't really feel hectic. The most hectic thing for me is like, because like we always like fucking bust each other's ass on integrity and shit, and like and what it's done is it's helped me, Josh, Matt, and Mike all be on a level of communication or more workable communication, and in turn that's just going to grow and inspire and become even better and even better. But like I'm always got a fire on my ass like getting here, and you know I dropped Robbie off at the airport and was like fucking hauling ass down 75, and I was like gotta get there. And was 4 minutes late, but it's cool because I communicated on the front end.
Yeah.
But it all worked out the way it was supposed to. So other than that, like the production and shit, because we outsourced, and you know we got Mike, and he makes it real easy for us sometimes. But
Sometimes.
I appreciate that it doesn't feel like a job or a task we've got to do. But there are some days when I don't feel like doing it, but I still do it, and you know, I'm sure we all have had that.
I think that having Mike and stuff also showed me to not, because I want to take on the world by myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's like, okay, I've got some ideas, but I can't just do every single thing myself. And, I think Mike has been really instrumental in showing me how somebody that, first of all, it has to be the right person, but somebody that has great integrity, great leaderships themselves can help carry the weight and actually get these grand ideas that we may have completed.
Yeah.
Bring it to fruition.
Yeah.
I'll try to do everything myself and then just like fall on my ass and then be like, yeah, fuck that, I can't do it.
I couldn't imagine fucking editing this shit or like learning it. Just bleh. It sounds
Right,
like
to do the
crypto,
podcast,
dude.
do all this, and then go home and edit it and do all the marketing and everything. Yeah, absolutely. And it takes
funny
everybody
'cause
for sure.
Mike said because of how I show up on the podcast that I make the editing easy for him. I'm just playing.
He just has to edit me and
Just
Hip around you.
Josh.
Yeah,
He's like,
He just-
thanks, Matt, for doing it perfect.
nailed it.
Hey, and you know what? You gave me and Josh praise, but we appreciate you just as much. And from my
Absolutely.
place, not if not more, because fucking you. I don't know. We compliment each other so well, and it's like when one person's tank's on empty or if two people's tanks on empty, the third picks up and fills the tank, and we all kind of run together. And it's just a good feed, and it reminds me of like being on stage with like a good bass player and a good drummer that they got your back, and like when the crescendo is supposed to drop or it's supposed to switch into a chorus or the bridge into a fucking chorus after a long fucking impromptu fucking solo session of each instrument, like they just feel it at the same time and bam, hit back on sync and start vibing again. So it's
Absolutely.
we're like growing in that.
Come on, our dynamic.
Right.
And it's funny you bring that up because a more recent episode we dropped was actually one of our earlier recordings before we had this backdrop and shit.
Right.
It was, I think the walls were up. And it was cool measuring stick because I saw in that episode we were still like fumbling, trying to find our footing and our cadence with one another.
Yeah.
And that was growing measuring stick for me to see like, wow, we've grown past that day and there's more of a ebb and flow with us. Even in the midst of when we don't know what we're doing, it's still more effortless and natural than awkward moments and our hands not knowing what the fuck to do or say next.
Yeah. And I think it's cool because I know some of our listeners have been with us since day one. I'm assuming it'd be pretty cool to watch all of that kind of, because I know in the beginning we were like, what about the walls? And I was like, you know what? Let everybody grow with us.
Yeah.
Like come along on this journey with us. I think it's pretty cool.
Right. You're
so
right.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Matt, very much. And thank you for the listeners as well.
Yes, you're so right, Josh. So good. And it's funny because some listeners that just found us last week, I've noticed, I've talked to so many people, new students coming into TBM that have all seen the podcast, and I get great feedback. So many people's lives are being touched and blessed right now under the sound of our voices right now. Isn't that amazing?
Fuck yeah.
And tattoo shops all around the world right now. I mean, I was talking to someone last week in Ireland. They throw us on their big screen in their shop. Someone in England, so all over. So it's just a really special thing that we get to be a part of here with the whole industry.
And I shared this a week or two ago, and it's a shout out, but the shout out has to remain anonymous because of the subject matter. But so there was a listener that had heard episode 1 about addiction and has been a avid listener and supporter of the Tattoo Guardians podcast. And this individual sent me a picture of something that he acquired, and basically after living a little bit, still using, he checked himself into rehab and is now working on 6 months clean. I believe he just got 6 months clean, and like gave a lot of credit to us and like what we're doing. And so like if we do this for another 10 years and never get another message positive ever again, just the simple fact that like whatever the fuck we're doing here has touched him enough to like realize that he deserves a life clean and free of drugs, and like made the effort to get it. Because like kudos to the people that like go into treatment themselves. I always had to be let in with handcuffs and stipulations, so to go in willingly. But spiritual bankruptcy is a motherfucker and desperation is a gift. So I can't gauge what makes someone else want to go and get to where they're going to be to want to change. But it took a lot for me. So just that simple thing, like I appreciate the fuck out of that, man. And
Absolutely.
I never would have expected someone to drop some fucking heat like that in my DMs and giving me praise, But again, like it's you don't think this, after surgery, you don't think the scalpel, you think the surgeon, and all we are is just tools to carry messages.
Man.
That's amazing.
Yeah. My God. Good shit. Okay, well, today, folks, we've got a wonderful conversation and topic to reopen to you, and this one we're going to hit it quick with some fire. And Josh brought up a wonderful, what I think is a great segue in today's discussion. How many of you can relate with Mr. Carlton when he said, I'm guilty of taking on the world myself? Right? How many of you can relate to that? How many of you ever heard or can relate to, well, shit, in my shop, I've learned if you want it done right, you got to do it yourself. We've heard that, right?
Yeah.
But something Josh was just expressing that Mike being our lives has helped taught him and us is that, what's the magic word, Hip?
Help.
Help. To take on help. Folks, today we are talking about leadership, and this is leadership part 2. We could do a leadership series for the next year and still not have it mastered. But today is part 2 of this thing called leadership. And real leadership is about empowering others. It's about delegating. It's about finding the mics in your life to bring on so that you, A, don't have to take the whole world on by yourself, because you can't, but B, how to attract the right people in your life that you even trust to empower and to delegate such things so that the vision, so that you can grow. It's this much and more on today's show around this thing called leadership.
You know how you just were saying, like, who to delegate and the right person to outsource or to do whatever said tasks. So, like, okay, I've worked in tattoo shops and I'm aware that it's a thing, and I've actually been that individual. But, like those shops that fucking just fill seats, right? They just fill chairs to keep the money rolling in, and then like the morale of the shop or whatever falls in the line of like, hey, quit doing fucking cocaine off strippers' asses after 8 p.m. And it's like all this like nonsense that you shouldn't have to put up with, because ultimately, yeah, we're tatting and fucking like it's some old school underground shit, but it progresses and it grows and it matures as everything that has a purpose. So it's like it or not, we're professionals, and yeah, there's got to be some give and take with like when and when not to be immature and silly and goofy and like, oh yeah, we are in a tattoo shop. We're not in a fucking library. But how people are so quick to fucking just fill their chairs with anybody that can fucking run a machine, and it doesn't even have to be good, and like wonder then why like you get the attitude of I got to take on the fucking world, and if you want it done right, you got to do this, and you're not taking any time to pour into any of these people, and let alone pour into your process of like who you're hiring or wanting under you or by your side, because we could go out and pull any fucking dude or chick off the street and have them make this videos for us, and you're going to see it in the quality, the communication, the willingness to learn and grow and be better at it. So like these are all things, when you said that, I started thinking, I was like, man, you know how much bullshit you could cut out of your own shop if you just would take time and hire slowly versus like being thirsty or in that lack mentality. That is like a good leadership skill that I've learned with you, like patience of like, just let it ride and let's see how this is going to work out before we pull a trigger and say, yeah, for sure, you're coming to do this. And just guest spotting at other shops or seeing how other shops work and knowing from my past experience that like just to fill a fucking chair, or to fill the fourth wall in our podcast isn't just simply like just get someone that can do it. No, I need to know everything about them because you are like the 5 people you hang out with the most,
Yeah. And so again, that points back to leadership.
Right.
Who's bringing on new staff, and what qualifications do we even already have established? What standards are set to usher in people the right way? that already, so many leaders and shop owners don't have that in place. So they just hire whoever, wait till they get into the doing of the thing to see if they're actually going to work out or not. And I've heard people say, like, I'm going to give you a rope. You can use it to climb or use it to hang yourself. Like, we're going to see, right? And to me, like, yeah, that's leaving so many holes, gray area up to chance. If you're a leader, you can define and create and cultivate all that. And so I'm not just handing you a rope to climb or hang. It's way more clearer than that, so we can usher them in properly so that they can decide what they're even signing up for. We're bringing them in on a certain level out the gate.
And off the rip for leadership, vision and value. Vision's where you're going, value's how you're getting there. So if you know that premeditated before time, or it just even like a vague direction you want to go,
yep,
you're already looking for that type of person.
Thank you.
Versus just anybody.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, and you nailed it, Hip. What would you say the number one job of the leader is? Now, we got tons of jobs or things that we have to do or should do as leaders, but what would you say one of the number ones job of a leader is? You just said it a minute ago.
Well, it's to fucking lead the people that
it's
the number one of the job of a leader is to fucking
Inspire.
move, inspire, and fucking make successful the people he is leading.
That's right. And so we can sum that up. Number one job is vision. It's the leader's job to create vision, to cultivate it, and then to enroll the whole team into that vision. That is what unites us all. That is what creates us one well-oiled machine, one ship that is all rising and going to the same direction, is the vision. You mentioned values, how we're going to walk this vision out. Even Scripture says, without vision, the people perish, right? Without clear direction, where the fuck are we even going? And how are we getting there if we don't have a clear path, a clear map to the treasure, a clear vision, right? So I would have to say number one job is vision, but not just creating it, but to really be able to empower others to enroll them into the vision. Whew. This is powerful. So you shop owners, anything you're complaining about or problems in your house, I'm telling you, a strump tight, clear vision can address all of those things almost indirectly. In place of, it weeds all the bullshit out. Instead of focusing on all the problems, all the people, all the things and the attitudes we don't like and don't want, that's going down a rabbit hole and trying to address all of them, and shit gets messy. Or you could obliterate and annihilate all that by replacing it with such a crystal clear vision on top of that. It doesn't matter what we didn't do yesterday, how we went off the path yesterday, or how it seems like people are starting to go like this. When you get clear on the vision and bring it back and now enroll it, that vision alone is going to weed out that other bullshit simultaneously. Even if it's weeding out certain people. But it doesn't have to be personal. It's not good, bad, right, or wrong. Hey, and you can own it as a leader. Hey, I'm sorry. I realize we just been driving around the car here, just driving, not knowing where we're going. But I finally got clear on where we're wanting to go. And you can punch in L.A. We're headed to L.A. now. Who's with me? So everyone that's like, I'm down to ride, I'm down to go to L.A., great. But there might be a couple people that now you got clear destination might be like, that's not for me. I'm trying to go to Nebraska. There ain't nothing wrong with them for trying to go to Nebraska, but that is where we part. But it ain't personal. The vision is what created clarity of our paths. Those that see it and are going, those that are like, nope, that's not my path. They were given the gift to be able to figure that out because you got clear on where the fuck you were going, right? The vision is so important. Knowing that, now when you hire, now when you bring on people, you can bring them in on a level. For example, when we hire apprentices, we sit down and ask them to create and define their best life. right now, today. They didn't even start their apprenticeship. Fast forward 3-5 years from now, you are living your dream. Best life is the tattoo artist you hope to become. What does that look like? What does your life look like? How many days a week are you working? How much money are you making? What's your family work-life balance look like? What type of work are you doing? What type of house are you able to provide for your family? I mean, we cover all of it. In a perfect world, if you were to fulfill your dreams and hit all your goals as the tattoo artist, what does that look like? We have our apprentices, to the degree that they're able to see, create that on day one before they even start their apprenticeship. And what did we do? Right there as a leader, I not only empowered them to dream, I gave them permission to dream and think bigger. You're not supposed to figure out the how. You've got permission to dream your best life and bring it back to us. Even though you don't know how this is going to happen, that's great. That's where we come in and we'll walk you out over the journey of the how. But now we've got clear vision. But who created that vision?
They did.
They did. I didn't hire them and be like, here's my vision. Here's how it goes here. Here's what the fuck it is. You know what I'm saying? And you got to do this and do this and do this, blah, blah, blah. Because that's the way our industry rolls. Like, come on in, bitch. This is, you know what I'm saying? Your name is bitch, by the way, and blah, blah. And we're going to haze them, do all this shit, right? That's the way we all came up. That, you know, that only goes so far. But it's the old people don't really care what you know till they know that you care. And you shop owners, you shop leaders, do your people really believe that you hold their best interest for them? More than just in your word, but in your deed. I'm talking about day one, before they ever even scrubbed a tube, learned how to put on a glove and take out your trash. Did you take the time to sit down and create with them their best life, their dream life, their vision before you even bring them on as an apprentice? If and when you do that, now you're bringing an apprentice in on a whole nother level, starting at level 10 in your relationship and the standard you hold. Okay, fast forward to artists to this day. Every artist at Aisle 9, I don't create their schedule, don't tell them what days they got to work, when they got to work, how many tattoos they got to do, how much money they got to make, any of it. Who creates it? My artists do, on an individual level, because everyone's different. Everyone's got different goals, desires, dreams, you know what I'm saying, are in different modes, want to be a type of artist, you know. And so it's about you, helping you live your best life. Not held to my standard of what my best life looks like. I let every artist create theirs, as long as it ain't no half-ass bitch shit, weak-ass, 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You got to be all in. That's why your dreams should scare you, or they're not big enough. Create your best life and what that looks like. So even our artists to this day are doing their own brand, their own tattooing, their own schedule, their own clients, making their money on their terms, and they are supported in that, and we know one another's goals, even down to a weekly financial goal. That is an anchor to make sure you are still on the right, that's your GPS, that you're still on the right road, right? But it all matters. So we've got big vision and then little micro visions. There's a vision around everything. Another word for vision, if you're thrown off by that word, because I realize is the plan. What's the plan? What are we doing here? What's the plan? And we've got one big, huge plan, but what makes up a huge plan? It's kind of like when we learn in science, like mass and molecules, like this table, if we could zoom in on it, what do we hear about science? There's all kinds of little like molecules and atoms fucking just going real quick, you know, and all of them together form this table as a whole. And the same with each of your individual artists, their vision, their dreams, their goals, their fears, their doubts, their wants. To address that with them on an individual level and collectively together, it becomes the molecules and the atoms that makes the whole shop all become the foundation, the ship together, right?
So do you
yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was just going to ask a quick question. Do you think, so sometimes you have these shops that will kind of quietly, 2 or 3 artists will kind of create a mutiny. It usually starts with one artist. Is that because maybe there's a lack of vision completely, or possibly somebody just has a different vision? Like, do you know what I'm talking about? Have you seen that before?
I do so well. Oh, yeah. And it will show up in anyone's house. So
Right.
it's that points to leadership, and not only unclear vision or their place in the vision. Like when people start gossiping and backbiting, they don't feel a part of the vision. That's why they're talking shit about yours. Right.
Yeah, they really start separating themselves from the rest of the house.
And it becomes a cancer. And another thing that's lacking there is clear communication. Clear communication on the vision. And it's up to leaders to even make clear communication feel safe.
Starting with the vision before they even come on board.
That's
to
right.
make sure that they're going to be the type of person. Now, we've experienced this at Aisle 9. I've experienced it at other shops before Aisle 9. I've heard horror stories from Matt, and I'm sure fucking with you've experienced the plethora of everything.
Oh, yeah.
But it's always communication and fostering that vision. Right. So it's important. Like, there'll be some shifts. Like, Matt's the leader at Aisle 9. I try to be or step into being a right-hand man, eventually being like another leader.
Yep.
But when he's not there often, you can feel that fostered environment start to form into something else.
Right.
And that's where I focus and I observe and I watch and I try to keep it going. But when it starts to get out of my hands, I can tag team Matt and he can come in and fucking lay the hammer down. Now, when I say lay the hammer down, it's a Nerf hammer, So
how do you...
It's a Nerf hammer, but it's said with authority, so it doesn't need to be hard.
It's bringing truth back.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to make sure that you maintain a clear vision, a cohesive vision, do you recommend, what do you have, weekly meetings? Do you have morning meetings? Are there some things you could lay out for me as well as our listeners that maybe would help them to set a vision?
Dude, I'm glad you said that because
here we go.
Years ago, me and Matt, we listened to somebody. I don't know if it came directly from Matt or if one of his coaches or somebody we listened to, one of those business entrepreneurial mindset podcasts, but he said structure's fun, and I can totally get with that, right? From all the way from prison, you got to find structure and regiment in order so you can do the time ain't gonna do you, to being in fucking treatment, to sponsorship, for recovery purposes, not tattooing purposes. There's structure, there's laws in place to keep us safe and to keep structure going, so everything has its place. So the same is said to be within a tattoo environment. I am a fan of monthly meetings. Now, ultimately, sometimes we got to fucking pivot and wiggle and give space and then maybe move it to the next month. But this last coming month came up, and man, I'm about to tell you something that you weren't even aware of yet, but it's cool because I get to share it with you because I forgot until now. Josh brought it up. But so Matt's had a shitload going on. Robbie was coming into guest spot, and Matt's messaged me the night before, and he was like, dude, should we even have a meeting? Do we even need to have it? And I was like, well, ultimately structure's fun and I'm a fan of it. And he was like, cool, good enough for me. So boom, show up, we have it, and it's one of the most powerful fucking meetings we've had, and you could see that it was fucking much needed. And there was a particular apprentice that was having some weird mental health days and just feeling imposter syndrome. Her exact words were imposter syndrome because she's listened to the podcast. And that meeting just fired her the fuck back up, and she's ready to go out and kill it again. So it's just proof that there needs to be check-in time to not only for the leader to reevaluate his vision, but because we go off on our tangents and think about things and, oh yeah, that'd be cool too. But if you don't communicate it with the crew that you're helping lead, they're just fucking left on blank, and you're assuming that they're reading your mind. So you have to check back in, and now the vision's starting to change and mature and to grow into something else, and this is the new vision, so let's fucking follow it and let's create possibilities what that looks like. And pretty much that communication on the front end, if it's there before they even start working there, you already know what type of motherfucker they are. And Matt said we don't want a motherfucker one foot in, 1 foot out. We want you all the way in. Well, all the way in isn't comfortable. 95% of the time is not comfortable. So it's if this is for real, if you're dedicating, because this is not a job, this is not a career, this is a complete fucking lifestyle change. And if you want all your dreams to come through tattooing, and live into the extraordinary person you are and quit choosing to being mediocre, then fuck yeah. But that all needs to be communicated on the front end. So that's the long version of me telling you, Josh, that yes, I believe that meetings are very much needed.
Okay.
And how I was going to answer that, Josh, well, this is after the vision is clearly defined. I was going to answer it this simple. You must always keep the conversation open.
Of course, you're going to have the fucking short explanation, and I got the long one. Usually he's the long-winded one.
We just changed sides. Hip's like, I'm over here Play-Doh snaking you. And I'm just kidding. No. You shop owners, you know, because I hear shop owners say it all the time. Well, I want to be friends with my guys. I want to be cool and stuff. But at the end of the day, I need them to take this seriously. I need them to understand this is a business.
Right.
Right? Thinking that that's somehow, if I got to draw a line in the sand, this is business first, then we'll be friends, right? As if that's somehow going to make your guys get back into line and do what they should have been doing because you reminded them this is a business, right?
Yeah.
I don't know about you all. I know this personally. I do not know an artist, including my own, that ever wakes up in the morning, puts their feet on the floor and stretches and says, I can't wait to go make the boss money today.
Right.
I can't wait to go tattoo and make the business money today. No tattooer in the history of ever is motivated by that. And we came from a shop that was such a fucking poor leadership. He used to walk in and be like, okay, who's here to make me some money today? And I tried to pull that dude aside and be like, dude, don't ever say that, because the answer is no one ever, dumb fuck. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, and he didn't heed my advice, you know?
Yeah.
But anyways, and his life shows that today. Regardless, back to getting clear on the vision. My God, this is so powerful. Now, remember I said I don't create their schedule. I don't create their life, what they got to do. They create all that. I empowered them to do so. But it's such a powerful vision for them that's like out of their reach. Now I'm helping them. We're helping them step into that. That's what they're excited about. And along the way, now if I've got to keep anyone accountable, I'm holding you accountable to who you said you wanted to be, not who I said you had to be. Now, if I ever remind you of who the fuck you are, I'm reminding you of who you said you are, not who I said you should be. You see the difference? So it's accountability off the foundation of their heart's desire, not the hole I'm trying to make them fit in. Huge, huge fucking difference, because they're not motivated to be what the business says they should be, what the industry says, what their boss says. No, but anyone's motivated when they really have a dream, a vision, and they truly want to believe that their dreams are possible. Therefore, here's the secret, shop owners. The shop owners is like, well, you know, this is a business, and I need my guys to step it up so that the business makes money. Well, no shit, dumb fuck. But that isn't the approach. Because no one gives a shit about that. They don't care about that. They need to know that you care. So shop owners, you know what your vision is? I'll use this analogy. Let's say you have 5 artists at your shop. Okay? And you need to have 5 separate one-on-ones. Now you can come to the table with ideas for your artist, but take one artist and you sit down and you give them so much permission to actually believe in what's possible for them. Well, how are they going to do that? Because of your belief in them, your belief level. They will, in the beginning, need to borrow your belief about them to take on just enough to dream big enough to even create their vision. They don't even have the audacity or the right. They don't feel like they've even got the right to create such vision. That's why you, as their tattoo father, their spiritual mentor, the one that brought them in because you see something in them and believes them. They need to feel that. You need to let that be so strong. I believe in you so much. The sky's the limit. I want to see you reach high. What is your best life? I empower them. Give them the belief, enough permission just to create the thing. And then they bring it back to me, and now we tweak it, we look at it, and we polish it. And their vision, let's say, is the destination point of where we're going. And then we reverse engineer it. And now we've got the plan. Now we've got a map. Here's where you are today. Here's where you want to go. I gave you the belief to create it. Now that I see it, I'm reinstilling the belief in you that this is possible. And if you do what we tell you to do, I promise you, you will arrive there. And so guess what my vision is for that artist? Their vision.
Success.
What part of that conversation did I impose my all-knowing vision on them? Now, I got my all-knowing vision for them, but you can't feed a baby steak. So why even try and force it? Bring your babies up and let them grow, and you can instill your vision along the way in the how we're getting there, in the map. They ain't never been there. I just gave them the ability and permission to dream about going there. Great, let's fucking go. I did that with one artist. What do you think I did with the second artist, with the third, with the fourth, with the fifth? The same with all of them. Now, they each are on fire for their own life, where they're going. And it just happens to be with you at your shop. And so they don't work for me. I work for them in helping support them in their vision and where they're going. Not only am I their leader and not only am I their guide, I am their biggest cheerleader too and fan, reminding you who the fuck you are and that we already said you got the goods and you can do it. You stay the course, keep going. So in this process, check-ins, monthly meetings are great, but all along the way, we keep the conversation open with the safety to have it. Therefore, a lot of my meetings with my guys weren't scheduled. They were, something popped up today. They text me, Matt, you got time to talk today? Boom, I'll make time for them. Like, we have a lot of check-ins organically that happen over time because someone's in the middle of the vision, walking out their path. They hit a roadblock. They hit something. They're going to go to Hip or me to be like, I feel stuck right here. Where do I go from here? The conversation's open. We overcome it. Boom, they get right back on the vision. Boom, they're re-fired up. Boom, they're re-excited. Why? Because I met them where they're at and we're still talking about their vision and where they're going, and I'm running with them. I'm walking with them. I'm cheering them on, right? And if you do that with each one of your dudes on an individual level, you are calling and giving the best version of them. You're calling that forth. You are empowering them with the goods and the belief that you're actually worthy of this and you got the goods to do it. And all of those 5 individual visions are so complementary to one another that it encompasses and makes up the whole vision. Now the whole shop is going up at the same time, but it started on an individual level. But if you got this dude rising, this dude rising, this dude rising, this girl rising, and this girl rising, now we're all rising together. And you shop owners, if you make your vision theirs, the vision is their vision. Individually and collectively, you will be more than fine. And I would go as far as to say you will be way more successful than how you've been trying to do things by motivating them in the way anything but this, for real.
Right.
It fucking matters. Kind of like the Zig Ziglar quote. You help enough people get what they want in life, you'll be just fine. And that's the secret to a successful shop owner, getting clear with the vision and empowering your dudes. And then it's having the maturity and the leadership to literally help them walk that out no matter what comes up. This is where communication, and more communication comes in, keeping this conversation open, right? But we're fucked without a vision to start out with. And so many people think they create a vision, it's out here, but then we're starting here, so we're looking at the vision and trying so hard to get to it. Nope. We create the vision, and on day one, we start from here. Instead of me trying to get to the vision is fucking pulling us towards it. The vision, and on the days where you don't feel like it, like some days when we've come here to podcast and we weren't feeling like it, what kept us in the game? The vision. pulls us towards it anyways. Even on our off days, the vision that we got our set sight on carries us through the off days. The vision is pulling us towards it versus us trying to climb to it. There is a difference. But that's why I keep harping on it. That's why vision is so important. And if you've got, Josh, you brought up like division in a shop, right? This vision is what unifies it, because these 5 guys that all have their vision, the next thing I do is get them to all share it with one another. So they all know one another's goals and one another's visions. And they're not, if they're growing and doing the best they can and their minds are blown, like, I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe, boom, breakthrough after breakthrough after breakthrough. They're not worried about what's in your pocket. They don't all of a sudden feel like I'm working for him and I'm paying him this cut. It's like, no, because he's fucking rolling the sleeves up and getting the trenches with me. It ain't about what he's doing for me. It's about what I'm doing with him, for him, to make him his best life. And yes, by default, the business will grow too. But it's a win-win for everyone. Do you guys see the difference?
Absolutely. That's why at Evergreen, even on day one, you saw me taking the trash out and me getting food for artists.
Come on.
And I still hear about it. People were like, yeah, you took my trash out and I hadn't seen your face. And I just thought you were like a worker guy. And then someone's like, that's Josh. And it's like, my vision was for unity for the entire, that's one giant tattoo shop while I'm there, right? That's 3 days. So yeah, I totally get that. And it does work. And it definitely unifies people, because so many artists are so worried not only about the guy, like his pockets, but they're worried about the guy down the street. Then a whole nother shop with a whole different vision.
That's right. That's right. But do you think David Goggins is worrying about other triathlon athletes like today?
Hell no.
You know what I'm saying? Because he's so focused on fucking running up his mountain. He don't give a fuck about what mountain you're on. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we create with our guys. Like, you know, there's no such thing as competition, really. You know,
are you guys familiar with the band
anyway.
Coheed and Cambria?
Yeah.
So there's one of my favorite songs. There's a line in the song, and it says, "Man your own jackhammer." You know, you man your own jackhammer. I've always loved that, and that sounds just like that. Run up your own mountain. You know.
Yes, and love it.
It's funny because like this morning, one of your students had messaged me, Matt, and I guess it's their first time at Evergreen, and was like, "Hey man, can I ask you a question?" And I was like, "Yeah, shoot." And he was like, "So if I charge X, do you think it's fair for me to?" Well, he asked me if I charge more when I travel, and I told him like, "There's nothing wrong with that. Me personally, no. I just keep it steady, the same. Like what you see is what you get, and fear-based or nothing other than just simply I'm just happy where I'm at." So no harm, no foul. It's not good, bad, right, or wrong. And he was like, okay, so if I charge X amount, which is lower than what I charge, and probably some other people at Evergreen, but probably more than some other people at Evergreen, he was like, do you think I'm undercutting or being disrespectful? And I was like, totally not, because that price you just said, my coworker is charging the same thing, and me and him are in a booth together. So, and then I just replied to him right before I got in the shower, and I said, quit operating in lack. And I just want to exaggerate more, or like explain a little more of like that's what that is, because you're worried about other dudes, and if you're chopping heads or not, or you're overcharging or undercharging, like who gives a fuck? Like you're there for you, your gift makes room for you, your client wants your work. Yep. Don't worry about other people. If they got insecurities and they start popping up, which they will, just keep fucking going up your mountain.
Josh has brought it up before. The guys that want to sit around and talk shit, and he's like, well, let's see your sketchbook. Like, you quit. You had to turn your own jackhammer off to talk about someone down the street and their jackhammer, which don't pay your bills, don't fucking do nothing. But now you're fucking robbing yourself, and you're not getting any further on your deal. You're not even, you put your jackhammer down. Like, you put your sketch pad down. You quit working on you. You lost your vision. You stopped on the mountain to judge somebody else.
And what's that do to the rest of the crew? They see fucking leader doing that, so they're like, you know what? Fuck this. What do they? Fuck these motherfuckers.
And that's when you'll get a whole shop hating on you, like, you know what I'm saying?
I'm teaching, you know, as you guys know, I'm teaching my wife how to tattoo, and we have a very clear vision. And, you know, I wouldn't say we have like people talking shit, but she's doing well, and so people are just like, must be nice and all that. But like every tattoo she does, speaking of sketchbooks, she draws it to completion. She's not just making a stencil. She's not ready for that yet. You know, our vision together is let's make sure you can do it on paper first. So I want her to be able, when someone says, let me see your sketchbook, you know, you probably only do realism. It's like she's filling them up already. You know, that's our clear vision from day one.
Yes, brother.
Which does help her kind of set up for success, more than kind of, you know what I mean? She's worked out the bugs. When she goes to do the tattoo, she's familiar with it. Like a hand stencil is one thing, which we don't do enough of, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I know you do, Matt, and I appreciate that. But, you know, when you're newer, like we're kind of getting off topic, but drawing a tattoo to completion, all the shading, everything, she can show it to her client that's already nervous because she's new, right? But now they're like, damn, that drawing is tight. And they look at her other tattoo pictures, and it gives her confidence, and she feels ready to go, you know.
And she's already tattooed it once, basically.
That's right. But because the path has been laid out clearly, and even on the days, and that's what he said, that's the whole point. He's setting her up to successfully arrive at the destination with the point of least resistance. Like, the quickest way is a straight line. Yeah, we can go all like this, but why not in the beginning? If you're here and Josh and Nicole's destination is here, and she's rolling with a man like Josh who's already been there and back and knows how to take her there, but she's going to have to do her own climbing, her own push-ups, her own sketching, you know, but he's the guide because he knows where she's going. You know, that is the whole point, is to get such a clear plan, map, vision. The whole point is to win and actually do the thing we set out to do. That's the whole fucking point.
Why even teach her if I'm not going to make her, you know, help her become her absolute best? I want her to be astoundingly good.
And that's what the attitude of every shop owner in the world should have. Why even take on an apprentice? Why bring on a new guy? Well, it's a business. I want to make money. Cool. And you're playing small. But when you take people on more with a father's heart, a shepherd's heart, a mentor, an Olympian athlete, coach, whatever, to take them on to succeed, for them to win and be their best, break world records, go for the gold. When you were the coach, when you were the owner, and you've got a team that's all going for the gold, I guarantee you're going to have more fucking fruit in your storehouse. You're going to have more gold than you ever could have by trying to, like, strong arm them into wanting it. Just help them really want it. Yeah.
I've actually heard, I couldn't believe it when I heard this, and maybe you guys have as well. I've heard stories of shop owners not hiring somebody because of the person that was better than them. Said, why would I hire an artist that's better than me?
To be better.
Maybe you've got a reason that makes sense to you, but that does not make sense to me.
Right.
Unless, I mean, actually, no, unless. I can't think of a reason. I would love to hire somebody that was better than me.
I know, and it's weird.
I would learn from them.
Come on, man. And don't most, like, parents want the best for their kids?
Right.
You know, like, don't most parents hope that their kids, like, fucking achieve more than what I did? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, versus...
I'm not going to push somebody else down to climb up on top. To me, that's crazy.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Especially your own children.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I heard that. They come in and they're like, oh, yeah, he was too good. And it's like, if he was an asshole, if he was too good, but he was a thief, I get all that.
Yeah.
But if someone came in my shop and just smoked me, I'd be like, man, you're hired, but can I sit in with you tomorrow, please?
Come on,
I got to learn these techniques.
That's right, brother. That's right. Because when we're all growing, like... by you being at your best is going to inspire me and remind me to do my best, not like make me be like, fuck
and
you.
As you said, the vision pulls us towards us.
Yes.
That right there could be the fucking universe hooking you up with a fucking learning curve.
Always, man.
Instead of like, ugh, your competition.
Thank you.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, when you're like the shit at the shop, you're the owner and you're the shit and you've been in town forever. I understand, like, being threatened by it, sure.
Yeah.
But like that just shocked me when I actually physically heard somebody say I didn't hire them because they were better than me.
Well, in a similar note, there's so many shop artists that will hire guys and just help them and train. Like if a shop owner's right here in his portfolio, he will help his guys get right to here. And he likes to keep it there. He doesn't want anyone to surpass him.
Right.
And, and I've never even understood that because to me, again, like I would be ecstatic and have been working towards it for all my dudes to surpass me. And I'll be
Right.
like the most proud father that they fucking did it. And I'm here to help them do it. And for a guy to surpass me, a guy to surpass you, it ain't going to come easy. They going to have to fucking work for it.
Absolutely.
And that's why I'm going to help you do it.
Right.
But even by me helping you, you still got to do the work. There's no fucking cheat. So if you actually hit that level and God forbid surpass me, it's worth us bawling and celebrating that you fucking did it. And
Right.
Hip's fucking there, you know?
And if you know any of us, you know that we're going to claw our way back. So like you know, if I hired somebody better than me,
Yeah.
I'm going to be so fucking hungry
Yes,
to
I
not
love
feel
it.
that, right? That I'm going to be on
Yeah.
fucking fire.
No
enjoy
shit.
it while it lasts, motherfucker.
Yeah, well, I love it because
here I
sometimes he'll get a
come.
little
Yeah.
cocky and talk some shit, right? And I like that. But don't you think for 1 second it don't make me think like this motherfucker, like I'm going to sign up for a tattoo off with him. You think you got me? Well, let's fucking see. And I'll put him
Exactly.
right the fuck back in his place. Or at
Exactly.
least try to. But we enjoy that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's healthy. To me, that's
Yeah.
perfectly healthy. You've got guys in your shop that are unbelievable.
Yeah.
You know, you've got guys in your shop that are really quietly killing it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I appreciate
Yeah.
that. That's some sneaky shit, man.
Yeah. Yeah. But we really, at the end of the day, into the beginning, love and respect, and we're like literally cheering one another on. And that's the unity of the vision, because no one's jealous of Hip's vision because they're so enthralled and scared of their own.
Right.
And Hip is supporting them in theirs and vice versa. Boom, unity, you know? So that's one. You know, there's so much. Again, that's why I feel like we could do a whole series on leadership, because really we just been talking around one topic today, which is getting clear on your vision and empowering your artists and giving them permission to create their vision and get clear on theirs, which becomes your vision, shop owners. You got your own vision, but to your people, the only vision if they should know about is their own, and they should think that is the shop vision and that is your vision, because it is, you know. Yep, it all matters so much.
So I'm making a note right now. We've addressed vision, leadership part 2. Value goes hand in hand with vision, because you need vision and fuck, I said it wrong. Value.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did say value, didn't
yeah,
I?
you did.
Damn, I had a fucking fried moment there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so leadership part 3, value.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and communication. And so, yeah, we can, as the months go on, we can trickle in leadership, and I would like to. Leadership part 3, we can trickle in over the years, right? But today, for all of you listeners and all you shop owners, I hope today inspired you, or at least made a shift in your perspective. Now, in my experience, so many shop owners, you may hear this message today and be like, I tried that. You know what I'm saying?
Try it
Well, guess
again.
what? Something you did didn't fucking work, did it? But if you're the leader, you've got to put the mirror in front of your face. Hip says it all the time on the show. If you are not the problem, there is no solution. Everyone else has the luxury to point the fingers and blame. But if you're the leader, the buck stops with you. Who the fuck are you blaming? Right? And you need to check that. Why are you blaming others? And why did it get to that point? There's so much on this thing called leadership. But the good news is any ship can be turned around. I don't care how divided it is. But the number one thing that's going to clean it up is your new vision and your new relationship and creating individual vision with them. Without it, your people will perish. Thank you so much for guys letting me serve you from my table with a little bit of the heart of vision today. I know this was a short episode. Hopefully it was powerful. Hope you got something to take away from here. Write us in the comments. Write me if you got opinions on this leadership. Let me know. I want to hear them. And we will keep this ball rolling. Hip, thank you. Mr. Carlton, thank you. I love you, boys.
Love you too. Definitely learned something.
Yeah.
This is one of those, I always talk about how happy I'm going to learn something. I learned a lot today myself, actually, for sure.
Good, man. That never gets old when he says that, does it?
Never.
It's beautiful, and I love his humility as such a student and such a leader. And Josh will receive, learn, and authentically communicate that, and now turn around and give it to somebody else. Man, we're all growing together, and I love it. Thank you, all you guardians out there. Keep being light with us. We'll see you next week.